Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And today's video is what if Naruto was a ghoul? I hope you guys enjoy. This is a new series on the channel. Remember to get this video to 10 likes to get part 2 as soon as you can. I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share this with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the video. Ghouls. Ghouls are probably the worst thing that Orochimaru has ever created in this ninja world. After the third great ninja war, Minato and the rest of the other Kages of the other nations decide to team up and start cutting them down. You see, before Orochimaru disbanded from the three Sanins, he's been working on a creature or a humanoid species of which they would eat human flesh and gain their abilities. Say if a ghoul were to take a bite out of a Uchiha, they would eventually gain the Sharingan. The amount of Uchiha flesh they eat, the more, prevalent the Uchiha genes are regrown into their systems. And because of that, it was quite wanted. But the Kages realizing that if it were to get out of hand, they wouldn't be able to stop it. So all of them would team up and start hunting down every single ghoul in the nation. We go to modern time, as Minato would be walking out of the flower shop, just got a bouquet for Kushina, who was in the hospital getting her checkup. Minato was happily about to become a father. In about 2 months, he would eventually become a father of their first son, Naruto, already having a name for it thanks to Jiraiya's book. He'd be walking down the street as he would sense something ominous. It was not a killing intent, but it just didn't feel right in his stomach. As he continues walking towards the hospital, he would stop as he would look around, feeling eyes watching him. Eventually, he would hear something flying through the air, turning around just in time, but not in time enough to block the needle that would stuck him in the neck. Pulling out the needle, he would fall to one knee, confused on what just hit him. Was it poison? No. Poison would be acting much faster than this, as he would look up to see who shot it, but the person wasn't there. Minato would be very concerned, but luckily, he was right next to a hospital. As he would stumble in, he would tell the nurse to give the flowers to Kushina and to get this needle checked out. The nurses, realizing that their Hokage has just been attacked, would immediately start getting a room prepared for him. A few minutes later, Minato would be in a hotel room. He'd be in a hospital room as they would check on his neck, checking his blood system to see if there's any infection or any poison coursing through it. Fortunately, there was nothing. There was no spot of anything in his blood system. As Minato would be confused about why this person decided to shoot a needle at him that had no poison or anything on it, he wouldn't think nothing of it, as he would go on his days, and eventually the baby would be born. As Naruto would be born on the fateful night of the Nine Tails released, Minato would be very concerned, but his feeling was quite different. He couldn't understand it. As he would go on, unbeknownst to him, the ghoul formula was slowly regrowing inside his body, but he didn't know, because it's a small amount, because if there was a lot amount, they would notice that, but they didn't. So Minato doesn't know that he's slowly becoming a ghoul. Eventually, he would defeat Obito, and both Minato and Kushina would be in the sighting, the nine-tailed fox in the air, crashing down hellfire in the village. Naruto being in his crib, crying, not knowing what's happening, as a newborn baby has just been born, but not to a world of happiness and cheers, but in a world of chaos and screams. Naruto wouldn't know what's happening. All he could hear was the screams of the people within the village, and the heat of the fire that Kurama was setting upon the village. Minato and Kushina would decide that it is time to reseal the fox, but they couldn't reseal it into, Kushina, because she's too weak for that, and she would probably release it again, and this time it would kill her. As Minato would realize they would have to seal it into Naruto, Minato looking over at Kushina, Kushina realizing this would have to agree, as both of them would go together. Hiruzen would arrive on the scene as he would tell Minato to stop, Minato not listening as he would go through his hand signs. The fox would realize this and try to stab Naruto like in canon, but this time Minato and Kushina would stand in the way, but the fox claw would actually pierce through both Minato and Kushina and actually stab Naruto. Not too deep, of course, but actually prick him. Kushina and Minato would meet absolute shock as Naruto is in actual vital damage now, as the sealing would be complete. Kurama would be sealed inside Naruto. Minato, realizing that he doesn't have that much time left, would immediately tell Hiruzen to transfer his blood into Naruto, realizing that it's the only way to heal him. Hiruzen, thinking fast, would actually start to proceed as Tsunade would be there, luckily, as both of them would do a quick procedure on the spot as they would start to transfer Minato's blood and some of his organ tissues to help Naruto because Naruto got pretty banged up, because the fucking claw stabbed him in the gut. Never mind. Minato would die happily, knowing that his body was able to help their son not die at the moment. Kushina would be lucky to survive because they also used Minato's blood to help Kushina. Plus, Kushina is a Uzumaki, and they also have a pretty good healing system. We go to 5 years in the future. Naruto would be a healthy 5-year-old boy, thanks to Minato's help, and he would have a mother this time. Kushina, realizing that she was actually part Ghoul about 3 years in, realizing that Minato, because she remembers that Minato got pricked by a needle, realizing that Minato was actually infected with the Ghoul syndrome, and now she is technically half Ghoul as well. Luckily, she hasn't been able to show it because she actually put suppression seals all over her body, suppressing the Ghoul hunger and the eye of visualizing. But thanks to the Ghoul syndrome in her blood, she's actually pretty healthy now. So, yeah. Naruto not knowing that he's a ghoul. In fact, they don't even teach ghouls in the school, or they don't teach them a lot. There's a subject about them because, Orochimaru. They talk about how bad Orochimaru is in his final experiment, which was the ghoul syndrome. Naruto would actually live a pretty well life, other than some looks at him and some hatred. He would have his mother's love and wouldn't affect him that much. School would be pretty normal as well, as he would still act the happy-go-lucky Naruto that we all know. Kushina helping with his happiness as well, suppressing most of the hatred he has towards the villagers for mistreating him and his mother. His favorite place to go was Ichiraku, and thanks to Kushina's seals, which she puts on Naruto to suppress the Ghoul syndrome, because Naruto got more blood than Kushina did from Minato, so his Ghoul syndrome is much higher than Kushina's. Naruto not knowing that he's a ghoul, and Kushina doesn't know if she would tell Naruto if he's a ghoul. As Naruto beat Ichiraku with his mother, talk of Ghoul would start to spread around the area again. Because Orochimaru has been on the run for a very long time due to the fact that all the nations were going after him, he's made multiple secret bases and also, of course, continued his research on ghouls. Of course, there's not as much ghouls as there was during the Third Great Ninja War. Orochimaru using a lot of ghouls during that time to, win Konoha, to make Konoha win. So, yeah. So there is a bunch of ghouls, well, not a bunch of ghouls, like about like 10% of the nation is ghouls at this point. There used to be 50% thanks to Orochimaru. Plus, they actually accepted ghouls during the Third Great Ninja War, thinking that it would help them win the war. But eventually, when the war was over, they realized that it would be a very bad idea to let them live, so they just hunt down all of them. So the talk of ghoul will start to spread around. Kushina, realizing that Naruto and her are probably the only half ghouls currently alive, as Naruto would be confused. Of course, he learned about ghouls thanks to the Orochimaru topic in school, but he wouldn't know the full details of ghouls. As he looked over at Kushina, "Mom, what are ghouls?" Kushina would look at her son, confused, as she would pretend not to know either. "I don't know," as they would continue on their day. But eventually, throughout the weeks that have passed, Naruto's curiosity of ghouls would start to increase, as he would ask to go to the library, which would surprise Kushina, as Naruto wasn't really a book-smart person. As Naruto would be, taken to the library, Kushina would go get some more cooking books, while Naruto would go into the, history section. Finally, finding the Third Great Ninja War, which the ghouls have been more prevalent in, he would look through the sections and eventually he would find the chapter talking about how ghouls were used during the war. Naruto would read through about how these ghouls had special abilities called Kagenes, which were extensions of their bodies and personalities. Also, how they're able to take abilities based off of eating someone else. Naruto wouldn't know how that would work, as it would go on talking about how the more the more ghouls eat a specific gene, like a Uchiha or Hyuga, they would gain that ability, making ghouls actually the first mutants that could possibly get the wood style if there was a wood style user alive. Naruto would be very fascinated with ghouls, trying to learn more about them, but eventually night would fall and Kushina would take him back to the house. Eventually, soon The getting exams would begin, and Naruto, of course, would pass. Kushina being a trainer to Naruto, so Naruto is not pretty. He's not bad. His chakra control is pretty good. Still having the nine-tailed fox inside him. He knows about the nine-tailed fox because eventually he'll know. And Kushina, if she was young, she would want to know as well. So she told him that he had the nine-tailed fox, which he took it pretty bad at first, but then eventually he understood. And he knows that his dad is the Hokage. No one else knows that yet, but he knows, and he doesn't really want to tell everyone that because he doesn't want to be treated differently. Even though he's being treated pretty bad now, he doesn't want everyone to start calling him the Hokage's son. He wants to make his own name. And if everyone starts hating him, it would be a challenge for him to create his own name, which he likes the challenge. He wants to create a new name off of hatred and, changing everybody's mind about him. So he would not tell anyone that he is the son of the Hokage or the late Hokage. As he continued on, he had passed the Genin exams, learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu and also learning Kenjutsu from Kushina because she was a sword user. Also, Naruto would not be able to unlock the chains, which would surprise Kushina as Naruto's Uzumaki blood would be pretty prevalent as Naruto's healing factor and chakra levels would say so. But she feels that the Ghoul syndrome would actually affect Naruto's chakra system, stopping him from fully unlocking the true Uzumaki genes. Naruto would also have Minato's intelligence, even though he doesn't like to show it. He's mostly a very goofy person that doesn't like to take things too seriously. But he would pass the exams and he would continue going on. But one night after the exams, he would be walking home alone, Kushina at home preparing a surprise birthday or not surprise birthday, a surprise celebration for Naruto passing the Genin exams. But instead of heading home, he would be stopped by Mizuki. Looking up at him, Mizuki would smile. "Hey Naruto," as Naruto would wave back saying hello. Mizuki would tell him something special, that if he goes steals the scroll of sealing, he could get something very special and might become a Chunin faster. Naruto, really wanting to become a stronger ninja, would agree to do so as he would start to run over to the Kage's office, and thanks to his training by Kushina, his ability or his way of doing it would be pretty well. As he would go, he'd run over and take the scroll of sealing without anyone knowing, and eventually arriving at the spot. Opening the ceiling, there would actually be a Ghoul information, which would intrigue him more. Reading throughout the jutsus, he realized that he probably couldn't perform any of them because he doesn't know his. No, he does know his chakra elements yet. His chakra elements are wind, water, and lightning. Wind and water, or water, thanks to Kushina Uzumaki bloodline. Lightning from Minato's, and wind from his. As he'd read through it, he would realize that these jutsus are too advanced for him, and he already has the Shadow Clone Jutsu, so why would he need it again? But eventually at the end, it would talk about ghouls. As he would read through it, he would learn more about how Orochimaru experimented, and Naruto would be very interested. Eventually, Mizuki would arrive, but Kushina would also arrive. Mizuki would smile as he would say, "Ah, I see, the harbor of the demon brat." As Kushina would be angry that Mizuki would be calling her son a demon, and the two would go into a fight. Of course, Kushina would be pretty strong and actually defeat Mizuki. Is it Mizuki? I don't know, I'm just gonna make it Mizuki. Kushina pretty much defeating Mizuki, but before she could leave with Naruto with the scroll of sealing, Mizuki would start to laugh. Kushina turning around, she would see the eyes of Mizuki have become completely black and red, showing the symbol of a ghoul. Kushina would be in absolute shock as she would be speed blitzed by Mizuki, taking her down as she would crash into the ground. Thanks to her housewife lifestyle for the past years, her, skills as a Konichi have diminished, but not too much. As she would get up, she would take out or unseal a sword from her palm as she would start blocking Mizuki's Kagane. As the Kagane would start to slice, it would be a blade type, like it wraps around the arm and it's like a blade. As Naruto would be watching in absolute fear and amazement of his mom, as Kushina would be holding up her own, but Mizuki, realizing that Kushina is protecting Naruto, he would start to target Naruto, which then Kushina would be targeted. Kushina would be stabbed right through the chest as she would fall into Naruto, but in this moment she would use her chains to grab Mizuki and throw him across the forest as he'd break through a bunch of trees, flying a good distance away. Naruto would be in absolute shock because Kushina would tell Naruto to man up or not to be scared and go find help. Naruto not wanting to leave his mother behind, as Kushina would eventually force him to. Getting up, he would start running throughout the forest, but then he would realize that Mizuki was going after him. Turning around, Mizuki would jump down, stabbing Naruto through the stomach once again, like in the past, as he would fall to the ground in absolute pain. But due to the fact that he's in a dire situation of fear and pain, he would unnoticeably unseal all of the Ghoul syndrome in his blood system, as his one eye on his left side would become, a Ghoul eye, which would surprise Mizuki as he'd be very confused. You're not a ghoul, but you're not human either. As Naruto would kick Mizuki off, Kushina would arrive just in time to see Naruto unleashing his Kagune in absolute fear and rage of being tackled down and, Mizuki hurting his mother. His Kagune would be this, tail like Kaneki's, but there would be 9 tails swimming behind him. Kushina, realizing that the fox's chakra has also influenced the Ghoul syndrome, allowing his Kagune to symbolize a ghoul or a 9-tailed fox-like tail, which would surprise Mizuki, and Naruto would absolutely destroy Mizuki, stabbing him in the chest multiple times in the air, but Mizuki would escape out into the forest, as Kushina would have to calm down Naruto. Having a battle with her own son, she would pretty much win because she would also unleash her own Ghoul-like state. Her Ghoul eye would be on the right side. Naruto would be very scared as Kushina would comfort Naruto. Eventually the Anbus would arrive and they would look confused as Kushina would tell them that they got the scroll sealing, but Mizuki escaped. Eventually Naruto and Kushina would be at the house, and Kushina would explain to Naruto that Minato, his dad had a syndrome thanks to a needle that was shot into his neck. Naruto would realize that he's half ghoul, same with Kushina, as he'd be very scared but also relieved that, he's not a full ghoul because he's able to eat regular food and stuff, so, it's pretty not obvious that he's a ghoul. As Kushina would give him a pack of seals and tell him to put it on, which would be just an eye patch. An eye patch. As Naruto would nod, taking the seal and placing it on his headband, he would bend the headband down, like Kakashi blocking his right eye. Kushina would tell him that she would start to train him in his ghoul abilities, even though she hasn't been training in them either. She has a good understanding of them because, she fought with a bunch of ghouls during the Third Great Ninja War, so she knows some things about ghouls, but she doesn't have a full understanding of it. Eventually, Naruto would go back to the academy for the team placement test, and he would be placed on a team with Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura. On the top of the roof, obviously waiting for a very long time for Kakashi, they would be eventually on top of the roof, and they would introduce themselves. Everything would go the same. Naruto still wanting to be the Hokage, as Kakashi would tell them that they would have a test the very next day. Naruto would be excited as he would tell Kushina this, as Kushina would laugh and tell Naruto to think under the underneath, which would confuse him, but he would think nothing of it as he would go to sleep. In his sleep, he'd be very confused as he'd be in a room with water all over the ground. Looking up, he would see a cage, and he would immediately realize that this is his mindscape. Confused, he would walk up and ask, "Hey, 9 tails," as the Kurama eye would open. "What? How are you here?" As Naruto would shrug his shoulders, Kurama be very, very angry that his nap was disturbed, would be also very confused because Naruto shouldn't be able to get in here yet. As Naruto would ask why he's here, Kurama would think maybe it was his internal thoughts, as Kurama would ask Naruto about his ghoul abilities. Naruto saying he doesn't know that much about it either, as Kurama would tell Naruto that the ghoul abilities have been eating at him as well, and that he wants it to stop. Naruto told Kurama that he puts on a seal under his headband that stops his, ghoul appetite, because, even though he's still, half ghoul and he can eat regular food, he, still wants human flesh. So he's telling Kurama that he can't really stop the ghoul the ghoul syndrome from eating up Kurama's chakra, as Kurama would say that He will stop interfering with Naruto's chakra as long as Naruto stops the Ghoul syndrome from eating his, because Kurama can't really do anything to the virus or the syndrome running through Naruto's blood. Naruto would agree on it, and eventually the next morning Naruto would get ready for his test. Arriving on the Team 7 battlefield, he would look out to see Kakashi, not there, of course, and he would see Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto actually eating breakfast as he would stare at the two. Damn, you guys look hungry. Sasuke and Sakura would say, well, duh, we didn't eat any breakfast. Naruto would laugh and say they should have, but, they would tell him that he was dumb because, Kakashi said not to, and eventually Kakashi would arrive there. He would tell them about the bell test as they would get ready. As the timer starts, the three of them would disappear in the tree line and get ready for the test. Well, this will be all. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember to give this video at 10 likes. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share this with your friends. I'm sorry this is a cliffhanger. This is more like a beta test to see if it's good or not. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.